to say.
That's fine. Keep going.
Why should you get your L1?
Why you should get your L1. We were talking about it before. Welcome to Fit to Live. We were talking and we just figured we should roll. Bobby was saying that members of the gym should get their CrossFit Level 1 certification.
Yep. But first, news and events.
Oh, no. Stop, bro.
Sounds good.
Just roll.
We didn't plan this.
Do
one.
it.
Usually we
That's
skip
great.
it a little bit.
Run it.
But, yeah, anyhow. Why you should get your level 1. So the CrossFit Level 1 is a certification for not just a coach. It's also meant for people that do that type of training. It gives you base understanding of what the methodology is about. As somebody that does that type of training, it's going to help you really understand what's going on. You're going to communicate better with your coach. You're going to have better body awareness. You're going to know when you're making mistakes because you're just going to have that heightened level of awareness. And coaching is going to be more effective for you. You're going to know how to respond because you have that base of knowledge. And then for a coach, it's where the coach starts, right? So, I mean, I really like that about CrossFit, that it's probably the only training program where somebody is really, really encouraged to do a certification. If you did any other type of training, your coach isn't like, hey, I want you to do the same certification I have, where they're just openly sharing that information. It's usually like, hey, I know these things, and now I'm going to train you with them. Versus like, hey, have the same amount of knowledge as I do. I think the divide, right, is when somebody would do a level 2. Like level 2 is by design specifically for coaches that really want to enhance their knowledge and take that deeper dive and really put themselves out there to be critiqued and to be broken down and then build themselves back up and figure out how to get better. But
In a coaching aspect.
in a coaching aspect,
Yeah.
right? If you're a member of a gym that did that type of training, you wouldn't really benefit much from that. But a level 1, absolutely. And I think in a lot of different angles. I think you just from the knowledge point, like we talked about a little bit ago, absolutely. I think you're also going to get connected with a lot of people that were strangers and realize that you do have this common hobby or this common passion with thousands of people all over the world, and you're experiencing what they're experiencing every day.
Yeah.
Right? So you leave feeling like you're not on an island when you go into the gym anymore.
Yeah.
You'll feel really jacked up and inspired when you leave.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how many people that do take, like when I went to do my level 1, which I was at a pretty big facility, but like there were so many people that weren't going into coaching that were there to take their level 1 as opposed to like, I'm doing this for a job. But I do think of it too, like in the way of like when you start doing this kind of training or CrossFit or functional fitness, whatever it is, like it's something that we typically try to tell people that it's something you want to do for the rest of your life. Like this is a longevity game to like stay in it forever. It's no different than like when you pick a career of like, okay, you do some training, you take some kind of certification so that you know what you're doing for the rest of your life. And the level 1's kind of like that in a way too, of like, okay, I'm going to do this for the rest.
So this
Yeah.
My
Like,
credentials for it. And,
right. Like I'm going to do this CrossFit thing or this workout thing forever or for a long time. Let me at least go take a certification, a weekend course where I have an idea of what things mean so I don't go into everything feeling blind or not knowing what it means.
Well, I think regardless of whether you're going to do CrossFit training, it gives you like an operating manual for the human body and how to like move and how to avoid faults in movements. So like if you just went and did an L1, learned all that stuff, and you had never worked out prior, definitely scale the workouts of the L1. But you never worked out prior and you didn't plan on working out after, they're like, hey, do the L1 because you're going to learn how to control your body better to avoid injuries and everyday activities. That would be worth it. Like just to understand your body from a movement perspective, I think nutritionally, um, like the seminar staff, the instructors, they're going to talk about nutrition differently than anybody else you're going to have a conversation with nutrition about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've done my level 1, done my level 2, and
You do level 3.
I did my level 3, but you don't really get to interact with people there. You just take a 4-hour test. And
Well, no, but still.
but yeah,
You gotta study
I
for
think so. I mean, like the materials, it's the same, right? But the way they talk and approach nutrition is different. Like you can have a conversation with your family or friends or your buddies at the gym about nutrition, and they're going to talk about it differently. But if you go and listen to how the seminar staff in L1 talk to each other, or they present material on nutrition, or you hear them talk to other people about nutrition, it's going to sound different. And I guess what I mean by that is that, like, the way most people think about and talk about nutrition is like it's very off. I guess hard to describe, but like a lot of people miss the point with what nutrition does for us and what it can do for us. Because I think it's, from like doing my L3, like it's really about like blood sugar control. And nobody really wants to talk about it. I think in like the competitive level, you see people use in the CrossFit Games, they use levels where they're starting to monitor their blood sugar levels like throughout the day, during competition, and things like that. But I think the general public, like, it's so unless you're a diabetic, it's so over the over your head. That you're not really having conversations about that. People are like scratching the surface when they're talking about macronutrients, right? Like, why do we want to have balanced macros in every meal? It's to balance out your blood sugar.
Yeah, and that's what leads to like all these metabolic issues. Is your blood sugar's just whack
All the time. Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think to kind of expand upon the level 1 and like the operating manual thing, for me it was like quite transformative. 1, because I needed it to get a job here, but 2, I needed it in general for my life and like for what I wanted to do and for what I wanted to learn. And like everything that they taught was very objective and quantified, which is incredible. Yeah, you can't bullshit your way around like fitness and health. There are very clear markers, and there should be. And although we deal with like subjective things, and there should be subjective things, when you're first starting out, you should learn that there are objective things that you need to strive for eventually, like the fitness continuum, like sickness, wellness, and fitness. Like you're trying to push your meter through wellness into fitness, no matter where you are. That way, when you pass through wellness, or even if you pass to wellness, you're still well and you're not sick. So for me, it was just very eye-opening in that it is very clear, and it's not as hard as people make it out to be. It's hard in a different way, like doing it, but it's very easy to see and be like, oh, well, that's what I need to do, so I'm gonna go find a way to do it.
Well, like when you quantify it, it removes excuses, right? Like,
Yeah.
If I'm not measuring my conditioning workouts and I go do a workout, I'm like, oh, I feel like I got a pretty good workout in, I did pretty good, but like, if you're measuring it and you know what your average run times are on 800 and how much time it takes you to do burpees, and you get done with the workout and you're like, wow, I had a really good workout. I held stronger paces on my 800 than I normally do. I flew through the burpees and I finished that workout 2 minutes faster than I normally would. That's amazing. I get awareness on when I performed really well, and then on the flip side, negative, right? I realize that I'm way off one day. But that automatically, if you're quantifying things, you're not just quantifying fitness. It's half of the job. The other half is to quantify the nutrition is to quantify the time outside of the gym, your sleep, your stress, those other things. Then if you have a lack of performance in that quantified fitness, you can then say, okay, that sucked. I don't want to perform like that again. What did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Where did I slip up? What is that? Because instead of saying like, having an excuse, now you have a reason why you didn't perform well, or you have a reason why you performed well. Like, oh, I timed my carbohydrates a little bit closer to my workout. I had a little bit more healthy fats with those carbohydrates, and that kept my blood sugar more even in that longer.
Yeah, and I think like dealing with like members in class or clients, and like they say they had a crappy workout or something, and then it leads to like at us as a coach, and I think both of you can agree, it's like, okay, you had a crappy workout. How'd you sleep?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What'd you eat beforehand? I don't know. Or like, how do you feel like subjectively on your body? Well, I mean, I'm kind of sore.
Yeah. Are you
All right.
stressed?
Yeah. Are you stressed?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of I don't knows.
Well, even on like the base of that, right? Like, so if people, let me put it like this: if more members had an L1, we would have different conversations with those members. They wouldn't. We could coach them at a deeper level, right?
Yeah.
Because they become more aware of what they're doing, because they're starting to realize, just that aspect of things being quantified. The questions would be different, or their comments would be different. Like, oh, I didn't sleep well. It would be like, okay, hey, coach, what's a tactic to help me fall asleep quicker? Like, what do I need to be paying attention to? It's okay, well, what's your routine as you go to bed? We can have a different conversation versus like, yeah, I don't know why I didn't do better at that workout. Versus like, hey, I know why I did better, or why I didn't do better in the workout.
Yeah. Their frame of mind and their perspective is different. You had started a thought. What was it?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, the methodology is measurable and repeatable data, and that's what we do. But I think it is really good to see the positives of that, of like when you do hit a PR or you do something feels easier or better. But I think too, at the same time, it's kind of what Bobby was saying, but it gives you that opportunity to dive deeper when something doesn't feel right. It's like, okay, I didn't have a good workout. What was different about my day? Like, was it the sleep? Was it nutrition? Was it the stress? And having that, I guess it takes you out of just like going through the motions of it.
Yeah.
It's like, I was swimming the other day, and the guy that was next to me was like, yeah, I never time my swims or my workouts. And in my own head, I'm like, what? Why? Like, why? Like, how do you know if you're getting better? How do you know if you're getting worse? Like, how do you know if it's working? Like, and I don't think that that's a terrible thing, because I do think that there are times when it is nice to just turn off the clock and move, and not necessarily do things for time or for as many rounds as possible. But at the same time, it's like, well, how do I know if I'm getting better? How do I know if the time that I'm putting in is working or not working?
Yeah. Too, I think when you use like objective measures, and that's like maybe your focus in your workout, or you put more focus into that, you can then appreciate the subjective results more, right? Because like you become more aware that there's another layer to it, right? Like I can be happy or disappointed with my objective results, right? In addition to my subjective ones, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy that I got in shape, but like, hey, my mile time is faster than it was in high school.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome, because there's no other time in my life where I would have measured a 1 mile run for time, right?
Right.
Like, no, I did, and it changes it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm as fit as I've ever been.
Like it gives, I don't know, it gives like, even if you're not super into fitness, or you don't want to be like super nerdy about your data, like the layman that comes into the gym and like starts tracking their data has something to like work for and
know it works.
And just have something to, I don't know, put some skin in the game for. Like I don't want to say it gives them a reason to like do things, but for some people it is, and like mentally that makes you happier, because you know you're working hard for something, and when it pays off, sweet, I get this nice reward, and there's so much more to do because there are endless things to track.
Well, with people being, a lot of people have a hard time with sticking with exercise, right? Like, it's easy to walk away. If I'm just working out for the subjective things, like I want to feel better, I want more energy, I want to move better, I don't, I want to get this pain feeling away. Um, that's good, right? Those are all good things. Um, but if I know that it works, like if you think logically to any degree, like it's really hard to walk away from something that really works.
Yeah.
Right? Because if something like makes me feel better, makes me feel good, you know what else makes me feel good? Chocolate makes me feel so good. And watching a good movie and sitting on a couch for 3 hours and then watch a new Batman movie and smashing chocolate just make me feel awesome for
4 hours.
45 for probably for a little bit, but I can come back to feeling good, right? But versus knowing that I'm going to continue to feel good for the rest of my life if I abide by these rules or by these measurements.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of like volunteering. Like if you're not tracking data, hopefully this analogy sticks. If you're not tracking data, it's like volunteering to do something and you're not getting paid to do it. If you're tracking your data, think of that as like paying yourself or investing in yourself, whatever. If you're just volunteering and not tracking your data, like Bobby said, it's easy to walk away because there's really nothing that you had invested into that process. Like, oh, I swim, but I don't track my time, so it doesn't really matter if I show up because I don't really know if I'm getting better and I don't really know if it's working. It's just kind of something I like to do every 6 to 8 months versus like I swim once a week. I want to swim 800 meters and I want to swim 800 meters in less than, I don't know, 20 minutes. Is that reasonable?
I mean, for somebody, yeah.
For somebody.
Yeah, somebody's like, yeah, I would love to be able to do that.
If you can swim 800 meters in less than 20 minutes, email us and let us know.
Clearly, we don't swim.
I don't swim a lot.
Often enough to know.
Or maybe that's really long. You can like walk it, but nonetheless, you have some sort of investment in like something to come back to try to beat. You're getting a paycheck to yourself, so it's like I want to go back because I want to get that reward, paycheck or fitness.
It makes it more obvious that the work you've put in, you've earned progress.
Yeah, your body's bank account is growing. Yeah. All in all, getting your level 1, CrossFit level 1, which we're not affiliated with CrossFit, so don't think this is like a shameless plug. We're like, go get your L1 now. Like, we just believe in it because we've all taken it, and we know that it works, and we know that it quantifies everything.
It's applicable.
It's so applicable.
Yeah.
Well, I was just, my last comment would be that, like, I see people have more sustained results and better results and enjoy the process of working out a lot more if they have an L1.
Yeah. And it honestly, us as coaches, like we're kind of teaching you the level 1 in a way, in a roundabout way. We're not like sitting you down and lecturing you through the level 1, but like as you know these movements and as you get to know your way around nutrition, the level 1 will be like this little phrase or keyword that puts paragraphs and paragraphs and pages of knowledge into this one little phrase, and it's like, oh.
Well, it's even
man.
just like the little things too of like if a member did go take the L1, it's like now they know what these words on the wall are for, and
how
like,
we're training them.
Right, and like we've tossed around the sickness wellness fitness continuum before. Like it would almost be like a review in a way, like like you'd walk in or you'd read the level 1 training guide and you'd be like, oh, I have heard of this stuff before. It wouldn't be completely new because I think we do try to teach our members things as well. Like they don't just come in to work out and move, but it's like, here we did take this test that is a guide for life. How do we share it with everyone else?
I think it's usually just problem solving on our end. Like somebody's like, this going on, and there's this thing, and I'm struggling with this, and then we go, oh, of course. Let's go to the whiteboard. Grab a marker. You write up this graph, and you go, this means this, this means this. Does that make sense? And they just kind of stare at it, and they go, oh, okay, like, yeah, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Like, it's so obvious, but yeah, this totally applies to what I have going on
Yeah.
right now. We go, Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
Or
that's
even
the end.
simpler of just like pointing to the pyramid, like
Yeah, like somebody's
Oh.
like, "Ah, man, I didn't do better on my rowing when we did our 2K time trial. It's like, well, how have you been eating lately?
Yeah.
I've been eating like shit, and then you just kind of look over, nod, and they go, oh, yeah,
oh
you're right.
yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. The L1 is like a light bulb factory. Just constantly like ding, ding, ding. It's like, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That was very obvious now. I didn't even think about it that way.
All right, so go to CrossFit.com,
Yeah.
and you should be able to find the L1 in there.
Yeah, I think it's courses up towards the top right. Pulling up the website. Again, we're not affiliated, so this isn't like a plug or anything. Although if CrossFit HQ wants to pay us, let us know. It's
Education.
top right, education.
Level 1.
Yeah, sort of certificate courses, level 1. There's also an online level 1, so if you're not into traveling, take that.
But if you have the opportunity to do it in person,
Yeah, in person's way better than online.
Agreed.
I'm sure their online is decent. Like, I'm sure they put a lot of work into it, which is great, but
the opportunity to interact with other people experiencing the same thing
Yeah.
at the same time, and then also to, just see other people move forward, see these L1 seminar staff
Yeah.
instructors
Yeah.
move, and it's worth it.
yeah, I remember all my L1 instructors, and it's cool to be immersed in that sort of environment with that type of like knowledge and experience. It's cool.
It's really expensive t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully it's cool looking.
I
Hopefully you
didn't
like
even
it.
get a shirt.
It's black.
You didn't get a shirt?
No,
Oh man, it's really expensive.
it's
Trip.
fine.
I guess.
You get a refund.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Lastly, news and events. Our handstand clinic is tonight when this drops at 4:30 p.m. This will lead into the gymnastics course with Bobby, and that is going to be 6 weeks, and that starts on July 15th, which is a Friday, and that runs for 6 weeks. That'll be at 4:30 p.m. for 6 weeks on Friday. On Fridays for 6 weeks at 4:30 p.m. The gymnastics course with Bobby. Do it. I'm not gonna say it
that
again.
differently.
I'm not gonna say it again.
Last thing on news and events, Friction turns 8
Woohoo.
this year. Actually, last week.
Yeah, we've already turned 8. We're
Friction's
celebrating
8
late.
years old now, and if you've been a part of it at any point, we'd love for you to come out on Saturday, this Saturday, 11 a.m., and just say hello and reminisce about really rough workouts and celebrate victories and sustained health and wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are hosting Bring a Buddy Saturday every Saturday until July 9th. So I think we have 3 more. This Saturday, the following, and then the last one on the 9th. So if you're a member and you got a buddy who is interested in joining but not quite sure, bring him in. We'll try it out. We'll have a good time. We'll go from there. If you have any questions, email us, Mike at Friction Grand Rapids, Bobby at Friction Grand Rapids, Trina at Friction Grand Rapids. DM us on Facebook and Instagram at Friction Grand Rapids. Share us from Spotify, Stitcher, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcast,
All the things.
the whole thing.
Man, for the longest time, we've been saying you can find us on these places to get a podcast, but it never applied
Yeah, you've already found
because
us.
you're already
Share
listening.
us.
And it just dawned on me that you're just a brilliant person for saying that we should share it because that's what you would do.
Yeah, it's, again, light bulbs, man.
It's your light bulb factory
Light bulb
in your head.
in my head. All right, share us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.